Today we're going to talk about Butterick B6674 and all the changes that I had to make to fit my daughter. Welcome to another episode of Friday Sews. As you know, Friday Sews is the day that we come together to talk about what has been going on in the sewing room, talk about the plans that we have for the weekend and for the week ahead, and talk a little bit about life. Now, let's talk about what has been going on in the sewing room. Today, we're talking about Butterick B6674 and all the changes that I made to the bodice of this pattern. I made the muslin, like I told you last week, I was going to work on the muslin. I do have the pieces of the muslin here. I did make the muslin, it worked fine, but then I had to take it apart. I'm just going down because I have a chair here with all the pieces. I had to take it apart so I can transfer the changes to my pattern piece. So this is half of the muslin. This is one of the front with the princess seam right here. And the other side is not there because I took it apart, like I said. And this is the back with the shirring here, shirring all the way down. Now I'm going to talk about what I had to do with the muslin. As soon as you put it on, up here, there was a bit too much fabric here, so I kind of went and took in a little bit here. On the side here, it was way too low, so I had to move that up here, the arm side, a little bit up because I could see her bra, and then when I would put the bias binding in it, it will go lower, what, 5/8 of an inch? I think that's what the seam allowance, so it would be showing here. So she didn't want that. I ended up, where is my other piece? Okay, this is the side piece. It goes right here, right there. So I ended up adding some right here. And this is the marking of the amount that I had to take right here. I hope you can see it. I don't know if the light will let you see it. And right there, I marked the whole thing. Even here on the side panel, on the sides here, I had to take in a little bit. I think it was like 1/4 of an inch because this is 5/8 of an inch. And I marked it where I wanted, where it would fit her. So I had to change this pattern piece. While changing this pattern piece, I also had to change this one here because this was, which one? Here. The front right here. Now let me show you the pattern pieces. My goodness, that muslin fabric just leaves everything behind. Okay, this pattern piece, we ended up cutting a D cup right here. I did the change here that I wanted, took out the bit that it was over too much of fabric up here, and I added 1/2 inch to this side right here where the arm side is. And when I do the binding, adding the bias binding to the side, I won't do the 5/8 of an inch. I'll do a little bit less, maybe like a 3/8 of an inch, so it won't go in too much and there's coverage here on the side. And I did change this side right here. So this pattern piece here was done. But while I made this change here, I added right here, I had to also change right here. You see right here, I had to add. So this piece here would meet with the other side. But that's pretty much what I had to do. And also up here, it was too much fabric here, so I had to go down in her shoulder right here. It is really, really nice to do a muslin for something that you're doing for the first time. And this dress is going to fit her really, really nice. One thing that I wanted to bring up with you guys is that this pattern does not call for shirring in the back. This is a modification that I'm doing because my daughter wanted something different, and because I did like so much the temple sundress with the shirring in the back that you can put it on and take it off with no problems. So she liked that idea, and she doesn't want the placket here. She wants the buttons there with the buttonhole showing and everything, but she wants this to be closed so you don't have to open. With the shirring in the back, it makes everything much better. So what I did, I cut the back piece. I kind of folded the amount. This is halfway. I think this is like 3 inches or maybe 3.5 inches. So I just folded the whole from top all the way to the bottom, because this is supposed to be cut on the fold. See, cut on fold here. So I just folded this portion here and I cut the back piece. So this is the back piece right here. I also had to add a little bit here so it would meet the same size as the front piece. So this is the back piece. Instead of cutting it on the fold, I had to cut 2 pieces. And this piece right here would be cut on fold because this is now the shirring panel. I did add 1/2 inch of a seam allowance here when I did cut the back piece. And I did add same 1/2 inch seam allowance on the fold for the shirring panel that I made for the back. So this is the change that I made to this pattern piece as per my daughter's request. It was her idea. She wanted to do this and I approve of her request. It looks very nice, and I think it's something that it can be done to any pattern, anything that you want to do. So it's nicer and it will fit much better with that shirring in the back. You can do all of this, no problem. Now that I showed you the muslin and the little changes that I've made, I can show you the top. This is not finished at all. I'm still far away from finishing this, but this is the top right here. If you can see that. See here, this is the side panel right here in a different color. I think I told you that she wanted to do some color blocking. So this is the side piece right here. This is that one front piece all the way to the top. And in the back, this is the shirring panel from top to bottom. I still have not cut the bottom here, as you can see. Yeah, I still have to cut it, but I just attached it. And then at one point I'm going to trim it when it's time to add the skirt piece to this. On this piece here, I still have to do the bias binding here on the arm side here. I have to do that, but I did the neckline. I did the whole neckline right here, the whole thing. All of this is done, and it's moving along and it's looking so pretty. I still have some of the bias binding that I made for the neck portion right here and the arm side, so that this is ready to go. I have the skirt piece, the skirt back right here. It's still folded with the paper in here. That's why you can hear all of the little shuffling. One thing I did, I made a mistake while I was cutting. I don't remember, was the back or the front? I think it was the front piece. Because this fabric was a 44-inch wide, I could not just cut them on the fold because the pattern piece, the skirt is a pretty wide pattern piece. So what I decided to do was cut one at a time. But one thing that I forgot to do was when I cut the first one, I had the fabric right side up. And then I went to cut the other piece, because there are 2 pieces, right? For the front, 2 pieces here. I just forgot to take the actual pattern piece and turn it the other way. So I cut 2 pieces of the same direction. Actually, no, not the same. That is not correct. I cut 2 pieces with the right side up instead of cutting them like right sides together. When you fold them, you do them like this and you cut it. I kind of cut it like this. So they were wrong, and I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do now? I don't think I'm gonna have enough fabric. So I finished first. I cut the correct piece for the front. I paid attention to what I was doing. It was late at night, to my defense. So I did cut the other piece, and I was able to cut the back piece. I think the back also, yes, the back has also 2 pieces because this is a big pattern piece. There's no way to cut it on the fold, so there's 2 pieces to the back. So I finished the skirt front, and then I did cut the back, and what I had left over, I was able to cut this front piece right here and the 2 back pieces here. But I ended up using the one that I cut wrong, the front skirt that I cut wrong. I used it to cut, I think, the 2 back pieces. Yes, there was enough to cut the 2 back pieces. I kind of folded it and I made it nice the way that I always do, and I was able to cut the back piece right side with right side, and no problem there. So I was able to salvage that little mistake that I did. As you can see, I think you can see back there, I have some my mumble jumble of leftover fabric for that one. Not a lot left over. I had enough to make the little bias binding here, but that's pretty much it. That's all the leftover that I have in the mustard fabric. I do apologize for all the rustling sound of this paper, but this paper makes a lot of noise. I trace all my patterns. I don't cut them because I make them for my daughter, and if I want to make it for myself, we are different sizes, so I don't want to cut into the pattern. I already put the pocket into the front, and this is the little pocket right here. It's the little B, same as this side panel here, and the back shirring, I put the little pocket right there. So it's a square pocket, nothing major to that. So this one here, it's ready. So now I hope to finish this weekend. Let's see if I can finish this dress, because I also have to finish my Project Dress-A-Girl dresses. Let's talk about the plans that I have for this weekend and for the week ahead. I have 2 things to do. I have to finish my daughter's dress, but I think I'm going to put that on hold for just a little bit because I want to get going with the Project Dress-A-Girl dresses, because that has to be mailed out, and that I'll be done for the month. So I think I'm gonna just do a little switcheroo on what I'm doing, and I'm going to go for that. Also, while I was making the bias binding for my daughter's dress, I cut one big square for that, and I was doing some continuous bias tape, bias tape, and I had this one here that I needed to make, so I ended up making them at the same time. This here took me a long time to cut because I had a big square of this fabric to make the continuous bias tape here. Bias out of this nice check fabric. It's a lot. I counted, I measured. This is about 8.5 yards. I exaggerated. I don't know why I cut such a big square, but if I don't use everything this year, I'll just save it for next year. Or while I'm doing the dresses for the Project Dress-A-Girl, I can use this nice and pretty bias tape fabric here. 8.5 yards, which is a lot. That's it. That's all I have for you guys today. I just wanted to share what I have been working on my sewing room, the dress that I'm making for my daughter. It is not finished, but hopefully by next Friday Sews, I will have a full garment to share and show it to you. And hopefully I'll get some pictures of my daughter wearing the dress. If you liked this video, please hit that like button below. And if you can also subscribe, it will mean a lot to me. I will see you on my next one. Bye.